Clap, clap. Hello, everybody. My name is Jeremy. This is Red Means Recording, and here in front of me is Chompi. Chompi Club. I have joined the Chompi Club. What is Chompi? Well, Chompi is, at the moment, a DAISY-based, DAISY's like a little hardware compute thing, kind of like a Raspberry Pi. DAISY-based sampler keyboard, sampler and looper with effects. It has MIDI on the side. There's some MIDI right there. It has, on the back, SD card. It has power. We'll turn that on in a second. I want you to see the light show, which is why I haven't turned it on. It does have an internal battery that you charge via this thing right here. And SD card. The SD card's super inset, so I've been using this to poke it out. They say use like the end of a 3.5 millimeter cable, which is right here. Look at that. Ooh, pretty cool. On this side, we have headphone out, and we have line in. So yes, this thing does sample. Think of it as space as sort of a modern SK1, Casio SK1, which was my first keyboard. So I'm pretty happy right now. Let's turn it on. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Now it's on. If you have new samples loaded on the SD card, when you put it in, it will take a bit more time, and it will show a little bit more light show while it is loading those samples. We'll talk about samples a little bit later. But first of all, let's explain how Chompi works. How does the little Chompster work? So we have a keyboard. These are replaceable. They put these marshmallow caps on when they sent it over, all of these, but there are alternative keycaps. So if you press the Chompi button, you can pick from a bank of sounds. That's what's going on down here. So if I go like that, oh, that is really panned to the left, isn't it? And there are 3 banks of these melodic sounds and then 3 banks of one shot. So I can go like this, and here's some ones I loaded on. Whoops, I guess I have to select one. And then if I go over here, here's some that are built in. Oh, no, these are mine. But they also send some with these loops here, and I am in love with some of these loops. It's just begging for like the Animal Crossing type beat. In fact, the first thing I did was this loop. It sounded like this. So yeah, you can record that stuff into the looper and layer and then play on top of it and then resample it if you want. It has internal resampling as well. But before we get to that, let's talk about what's going on up here with these things, okay? So here's pitch. First one right here. If I hold down this and turn it like this, it moves in octaves and fifths, which is really, really useful. And then if I press that down, it will return to default, which is great. If I press this again, I get into volume. So while you're looping, you may want to increase or decrease the volume of a layer. So you can do that there. Again, hit it, reset it. If I hold this down in volume mode and turn it, then we're going to get pan. So go pan and pan. Isn't that wonderful? So these are all samples, as you might guess, and they have start and end point. So if I press this key, you hear that loop. Well, I can move the end point and the start point. Like that. If I hold one of these down, it'll move both of them at once, which is a really cool way to create some interesting soundscapes. It's not really granular scrubbing, but it is sort of windowed scrubbing, which is really neat. So I'm going to go ahead and reset that. You can also turn on and off sustain mode. like that, which is useful. Okay, so let me now press these like that and that. Now we have attack and release. And with the loop on, you can hear that that is now looping the release, which is really cool. Which is a great time to come over here and talk about the effects. So if we press this, we go between the 3 effects. The first one is a space effect. It starts off as a delay and then moves into a reverb. So you can hear that stereo ping pong. And then we slowly fade in that. One thing I did forget to mention over here, it's a great time to show this off, is in the speed control right here. If I go all the way to the left, I can reverse the sound. So you can get like a really ambient, neat stuff, especially in conjunction with a lot of reverb. And that looping release. How fucking cool is that? It's so simple just to get like really, really washy and pretty out of this. This is distortion, or tape into distortion. Let's try that on a drum beat. So it's really nice. Some sounds can actually get kind of like nicely distorted. Yeah, there it is. And of course you can compensate by turning down the volume over here. Do 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 do. Reset that. Next up is a sort of DJ style filter. So low pass, high pass, high pass, low pass. And this is great because if you like turn up the space a lot, you might want to add a layer that just has just up at the top there, that glittery top end. Really, really kind of nice. Sparkly bits up there. So far, I've found this thing does 2 things really well, at least in my limited experience so far. 1, it does Animal Crossing type beats like nobody's business. 2, it can do like really, really pretty ambient stuff. So here's an example of that. Let's talk about the looper. This obviously is a big part of the whole experience here. You've seen me using it in these demo examples so far. Let's go ahead and put it into practice now. So I'm going to pick a loop. That's pretty fun. Now you can hear that this loop is perfectly looped. You know, if you want to bring in something like a drum loop and put it into the one-shot mode, which is what this side of the whole thing is called. We have Cubby, C-U-B-B-I, which is the one-shot stuff like this. And then we have Jammy, which is the like chromatically spray sounds. And you can copy and paste between them. There's a copy and paste thing. I believe it's right here. The preset management stuff is right here. And so you can interchange the two, which is really, really cool. Right now I have a bunch of loops here. But you could also put like one-shots on here. Like you could put drum sounds on here, or anything, right? But just for the demonstration purposes here, I find that loops give us the most bang for the buck. And that's what they sent it over with, was some of those like cool like Animal Crossing type CR78 loops. And I was like, cool. Yeah, loops make sense. So let's go ahead and start recording. Now, I could just hit this button right here. This is going to start recording, this one right here, the yellow one. But they also included a mode where it will only start recording after you press a key. So to do that, I'm going to hold down our blue play button and hit that. And now you can see it's blinking. So I'm going to go ahead and press this key. It's going to record the loop. I'm going to let it record maybe 4 bars. And then I'm going to hit the play button to stop the loop. To stop the recording, I mean, excuse me. And if we're lucky, we will now get a perfect loop. And we did. So now if I want to record over this, I hit the overdub button and you'll see when it's yellow, that's when it's recording. Now you have to be careful with this because as you'll see, when I add another loop on top of this, that just stays on. So in some cases, I have forgotten to turn off overdubbing, and I have, gone to audition other sound and accidentally recorded over my whole thing. There's no undos on this, so you got to be careful because there's no undos. It is a looper, which is really fun. Let me just take about that for a second. It's just fun. Like I don't do looping. This is the first device I've actually used that does looping, where I'm actually like, okay, cool. This is fun. I'm having fun with it. I'm playing. I'm making fun little things, and then that's it. It's just sort of an ephemeral kind of joy in the looping stuff. Obviously, loops can be a lot of things. You can go very spacey and very ethereal and serious with it. You could load this up with noise samples. You could sample things from weird modular things and make some really intense stuff. But that's not what I was doing. I was doing that Animal Crossing type beat shit. All right, let's keep going. So I'm going to hit play. And now I'm going to go over to another instrument. Cool. So if I want to record that bass, I'm going to hit the overdub button and I can just start playing whatever I want. Now notice how this is building up. That's the length of the loop. So you'll see this reset here in a second, and that's where it's the beginning of the loop. There we go. This one gets lighter as it goes, or excuse me, darker as it goes. So nice little visual feedback there. Let's record. And there we go. Make sure they turn that off. Hit play. So there's a bass line and a drum loop. I can go ahead and record a little bit more, but before I do that, I want to show you, this. You can hear that we have tape control, basically. And now you'll also notice here, see how this is a color? Well, it mimics the pitch colors of these over here. So right now it's an octave up, and if I hold the Chompi key down or shift key down, I can go to specific speed intervals, including reverse, which is cool as hell. All right, let's record something else. Let's see. I can add effects to any of these sounds and record into the looper with the effect, as you might expect. You can also put the effects after the looper. So that's right here. So right now, if I play the sound, and I go to the reverb, like that. That sound is separate. But if I go like this, now we are affecting the looper. And this is cool because you can do this. The effects are playable, and you can play with the filter as you record the looper, as you might expect. And then once you have this fun little loop, you can just jam on top of it. This is I don't know. This is the fun part. Fun little friend. But yeah, you can get really, really spacey and stuff with it. I have had a lot of fun like making really spacey ambient loops with it, playing with the filter going into the reverb. So for instance, here, if I was to turn this up and then go over here and make these cool washes. Come in and out. It's just really, really pretty stuff. If you want to erase what you've done, then go ahead and do this. And it's gone. And that is the basic operations of Chompi. Isn't that great? Isn't that fun? Do you understand what I meant by fun? Just having some fun. Let's talk about some of the other features and things you can do with Chompi. All right. Another thing it has is over here, there is a compressor. So if I hold this down, I guess I probably should have had a loop going. Let me go ahead and get something else going real quick. Messed that one up a little bit, but that's okay. That's enough, I think. All right, compressor. Nice and chunky, kind of like the OP1's drive. I imagine if you did sort of like a lo-fi hip-hop thing or just like a boom bap thing, you get some real nice pump out of that. What else do we have here? We can sample into this, as you might expect. And why did I make that sound? How did it? That's kind of like my dog when she has her mouth like latched to a pillow and she's trying to breathe while also holding on to the pillow. It's really attractive. Right now, it is set to sample from the microphone. We have been working in this bottom here mode. This is the editing sound mode. If I go up to here, I will now be able to sample stuff. I'll be able to record stuff, and this is the key for that. Before we sample, we want to think about the input. I believe these are our inputs right here. I'm going to go back to microphone. It's microphone, line in, and resample, I believe, are the three. So let's go to microphone like that, and go back to here. And now you can see, hey, look at me. Look at me. I am showing you that there is stuff there. So let's go ahead and record. Here we already have some effects on there and stuff. Let's go back to here. Now, if I could ask for something here, it would be like some zero crossing snapping for those loop things. But I have a sample now, so I can adjust it anywhere I want. And because the pitch thing here is non-quantized, I can repitch this to match whatever the real key is if I don't sing on key, you know, because I'm sure I didn't. Okay, so we can sample from the microphone. When you do that, it goes into what's called the Chompi buffer, and it's kind of shown right here in this cute little way. This little friend right here. So when we're selecting sounds, whatever we just recorded would be right here. And I can now save this sound if I wanted to one of the extra slots. So there's 14 slots per bank for each type of instrument. So 3 banks of 14 for the chromatic instruments and 3 banks of 14 for the drum instruments. The creators of this think of it sort of as a sound sponge. It can be taken anywhere. You can record anything into it and then, use those either within the Chompi or bring them somewhere else and use them after that. With the internal resampling and stuff like that, this can really do a lot of interesting sound sponging and also sort of manipulation with the tools that it has on here, which I think is cool. So let's switch over to, we need to switch here to that mode. So now you can see that I can see the incoming thing down. Now, an interesting thing about this, as far as I understand, let me go ahead and pick a different sound. Sure, whatever the hell that is. If I hold this down and like this, I think, yeah. So now I can hear the incoming sound. The effects in Chompi affect that incoming sound, which is pretty cool. Great. Yeah. That's cool. So we can sample from anything that we want. And because this has MIDI, wow, that was quite loud. I'm so sorry about that. Because this has MIDI, you can, I don't like hearing that. Oop, there we go. Because this has MIDI, you could MIDI out of it into something like the O coast and use this keyboard to play the O coast into here, sample it, or use the effects as you saw fit. So that's pretty cool. What about resampling? This is where things get really neat. So let me go ahead and put something on our friend here. Or to the looper, excuse me. Cool. Now I'm going to go over to sampling mode. Oop, I have to change the input first. There we go. Now we're in resample mode. So now, just pick a time. There, done. Come back here. I've now resampled what was playing. So now I can manipulate it in the way that you might want. I can, for a rather almost perfect loop. And now I have this instrument and I can play across the keyboard. Isn't that fucking cool? Now, there's obviously a billion things that you can do with this as a concept. What I'm going to do real quick is go back to microphone here, go back to here. I'm going to add this to the loop. Now, switch this back to resampling. Go back up here, and I'm going to hit it. Let me hit it. Readjust our endpoints. And lest you forget, we can't go reverse with this. So let's go ahead and go all the way back here. Get all boards of Canada. 20 minutes. I mean, I'm now at 47 minutes. Chompi, thanks. That's Chompi. It is sort of a super SK1. You might think of it as a Casio SK1 in case you're not familiar with that. You can record fart sounds and play them chromatically. You can loop things. You can save your sounds. Take it on the go with you. You know, it is battery powered. I can take this out right now and it still works. Take it places. Record your friends' farts. Make songs out of those. Let me tell you a little technical Chompi story. This is based on the Electrosmith Daisy, which again is a specific little compute device. Qubit uses them. Noise Engineering uses them. A bunch of people use the Daisy now. It is just kind of a great platform. And that's what it is. It's a platform. If you're familiar with any of the Noise Engineering oscillators, you will know that they are interchangeable from a firmware perspective. So the company, Chompi, they put this out on Kickstarter and it exploded. They did not expect the number of orders that came in via Kickstarter. They were having the same place that manufactures, let's say, Qubit, Noise Engineering, a whole bunch of other places. It's like Electrosmith Manufacturing, I think is what they're called, in LA. What ended up happening was they had to dedicate 2 weeks of that manufacturer's time completely to Chompi, 24 hours a day, just making as many as they can. That was a bit frazzling for the creators of this. You know, they did not really expect that to happen. So they are now back on their feet in terms of deciding how Chompi's future will go. They're not worried so much about manufacturing, which is great. They are focused on software and firmware. The hardware is, they wanted this to be as good as it could be. That was the thing that was important for them at the beginning, was making sure that Chompi went out as hardware the best it could be. And now they're focusing on the software aspects of it. I know that there are some firmwares coming. I know that there is going to be an editor for this, sort of like the Narwhal editor for the Qubit stuff. I also know that there's going to be alternate firmwares for this. I can't say much more than that right now, but I do know at least one alternate firmware for it. That's going to be really exciting. And there's a lot of possibilities. Think of the Organelle by Critter and Guitari. This has that same capacity. You're looking at this, your imagination can probably come up with a few different things, and maybe you will have an opportunity, if you are so inclined, to create those things for our friend, the Chompi here. I just wanted to let you know a little bit behind the scenes of what was going on with this, because from the external standpoint, it was just an insane Kickstarter, and there was a lot more behind the scenes going on besides just, wow, big number. I'm having a lot of fun with the Chompi. I hope you can see why. I hope this has demystified the Chomposaurus for you, and I hope you now understand why this thing exists. That's kind of what my goal was here. Thank you, everybody here, for watching the video. And if you have any comments about Chompi, or maybe, fun things to do with an SK1 style keyboard besides fart sounds and meowing sounds, we know that we can do that. Thank you. Let me know in the comments below. That's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Red Beans Recording. That's not correct. My name is Jeremy. This is Red Beans Recording. I hope you have a wonderful day.